Imagine waking up in a world that is not your own, a world so different that the very laws of nature seem to have shifted, leaving you stranded in an era you can't even begin to understand. Now, imagine that world belongs to a man who has fought some of the toughest battles in history, a beast who knows no fear and has dominated every challenge put in front of him. What happens when this unstoppable force is thrown into a new reality? How does a warrior whose very essence is built on power and dominance adapt when the rules of time and space itself seem to change? The answer to that question is as mind-bending as the world Brock Lesnar suddenly finds himself in. Brock Lesnar, a name synonymous with dominance, not just in the world of wrestling but also in the octagon, has never been one to back down from a fight. Whether it's inside the WWE ring or the UFC cage, Brock's presence commands respect. But what if his fighting skills were no longer enough to survive? What if, instead of facing opponents of flesh and bone, he found himself up against something far more sinister and complex, a world unlike anything he could have ever imagined? He's spent a lifetime proving that nothing can hold him back, but now, with every step, every breath, Brock is forced to confront a reality he can't overpower with strength alone. When Brock opens his eyes, the landscape is nothing like the one he knew. Gone are the lights, the crowds, the arenas he once conquered. He stands in the middle of an alien forest, the air thick with unfamiliar sounds, and the horizon filled with strange, distant structures that feel both ancient and futuristic. There is no immediate threat, no opponent to face, but the tension in the air is undeniable. Brock knows that something isn't right. His heart races, adrenaline surging through his veins, but it's not just the thrill of combat he feels, it's the confusion of being far removed from everything he understands. As Brock begins to move, trying to make sense of his surroundings, the realization hits him: this is no dream. This isn't some twisted nightmare or a side effect of the latest wrestling stunt. This is real. But what is this place? How did he get here? And most importantly, how does he survive in a world where his unparalleled strength might not be enough to keep him safe? Each step Brock takes through this strange landscape leads him deeper into the unknown. He's alone, and he can't shake the feeling that he's being watched. I seem to follow his every movement from the shadows, and every rustle in the trees sets his senses on edge. Yet, there's something else, a deep, growing sense of anticipation, as if fate itself is drawing him into a much larger story. A story that could change everything he knows about himself. A story that, like the greatest battles he's faced, will test every ounce of his willpower, his strength, and his cunning. Brock isn't the type to back down, no matter the odds. And yet, as he ventures further, the questions keep piling up. Who are the mysterious figures that seem to lurk just beyond his reach? What is the technology that hums in the background of this strange new world, and how did it come to be? Is there a way back home, or is he doomed to fight an endless battle for survival in this alien time period? But with each answer comes even more questions, and the more Brock learns, the more his mind races. This place isn't just different, it's dangerous. And he has no idea who or what he'll be facing next. What Brock doesn't know is that the world he's stumbled into isn't as empty as it seems. In the distance, something stirs, a force unlike anything he's ever encountered before. As he moves closer to the source of this strange energy, Brock feels a deep, unsettling connection. This world isn't just a challenge, it's a test. And he is the test subject. His muscles flex, his instincts screaming to fight, but the question lingers in the back of his mind: what happens when strength isn't enough to save you from a future you don't understand? As the sky darkens and the first ominous sounds of the unknown echo through the forest, Brock is left with only one option: move forward, or risk being consumed by the very world that surrounds him. And just as Brock prepares to face whatever lies ahead, a shadow moves swiftly through the trees. Not a creature, not a beast, but something far more dangerous, something that has watched him since he arrived. Something that might just hold the key to his survival. But will Brock be able to unlock it in time? Or is he destined to become just another lost soul in a world that's not his own? The clock is ticking, and Brock Lesnar's fight for survival is only just beginning. As Brock stands frozen in the dimming light of this unfamiliar world, his mind races through the possibilities. He's been in situations where the odds were stacked against him before, facing overwhelming opponents, dangerous conditions, and high-pressure moments, but never has he felt so utterly out of place. His muscles, built to crush obstacles in the physical world, now seem like they may be of little use in this alien realm. The air feels heavier here, as though the very atmosphere is thick with mystery and the weight of unseen eyes. And for the first time in a long while, Brock is unsure. His raw strength, once his greatest asset, may no longer be enough. The world around him is like nothing he's ever encountered. The forest isn't just full of trees, the trees themselves seem different, with smooth bark that shimmers faintly in the fading light, as if alive. The ground is soft, almost spongy, beneath his boots, but it's not the kind of terrain he's used to. The silence in the air is deafening, broken only by the occasional snap of a twig or the distant hum of energy in the atmosphere. It feels like the calm before a storm, and Brock knows better than to trust it. Something is coming, and he can sense that it's not the usual fight he's used to. This time, there's a deeper force at play. As he moves cautiously through the strange landscape, a shift in the atmosphere catches his attention. A shadow, darker than the rest of the night, moves swiftly between the trees. Brock's hand instinctively clenches into a fist, his senses heightened. But the shadow isn't alone. Soon, he sees more figures darting just out of sight, moving with unnatural speed and precision. They're watching him, waiting for him to make his move. Brock knows better than to rush into a confrontation without understanding the situation. His experience in the ring has taught him that patience is just as important as power. But even so, the tension builds, his every instinct screaming that something is wrong. Meanwhile, deep within the heart of this strange world, a different kind of battle is unfolding. A group of mysterious individuals, beings who seem to have knowledge of the worlds beyond their own, has been watching Brock's every move. They are not from his time or his dimension, but they have been tracking his movements for reasons unknown. They, too, sense the growing disturbance that has brought him here, but their motives are shrouded in secrecy. Are they allies, or are they preparing to test him? The answers lie deep within their hidden stronghold, a place Brock has yet to discover, but it's only a matter of time before his path crosses theirs. In another corner of this world, a third force is at play, an ancient, almost mythical presence that has long been dormant. Known only through whispers and fragmented tales, this power is said to control the very fabric of time and space. It is not something that can be fought with brute strength, nor can it be understood with logic alone. It is a force of nature, a being who exists outside of conventional understanding. And it has taken an interest in Brock Lesnar. Why? No one can say. But in the coming days, that question will be answered, for better or worse. As Brock ventures deeper into this twisted reality, he begins to notice strange signs, glowing symbols carved into the trees, faint whispers carried on the wind, and flashes of images that seem to come from another life entirely. The more he sees, the more he realizes that his arrival here might not have been an accident. Somehow, in some way, he has been chosen. But chosen for what? Is this some kind of trial, a test to determine his worth in a world that doesn't play by the rules he's used to? Or is there something darker at work, a plan unfolding that Brock cannot yet comprehend? Brock knows that he can't survive in this strange world by relying on his strength alone. His every move is being watched, and the strange figures lurking in the shadows seem to be waiting for him to make a mistake. They don't fight the way he's used to. There are no rules here, no clear boundaries between friend and foe. Every step he takes could lead him into an ambush, or worse, into the clutches of whatever ancient force is lurking just beyond the horizon. But Brock is nothing if not resourceful. He's been through hell before, and he's survived it every time. His mind begins to work, analyzing his surroundings, looking for any clue, any advantage. He knows the power of observation. Every small detail counts in a fight, and every piece of information could be the key to survival. He begins to study the symbols on the trees, the way the air shifts when he moves, the subtle vibrations beneath his feet. Slowly but surely, Brock starts to piece together a pattern, a map of sorts, leading him toward something. But what? And why? The forest is dense, and the further he travels, the more oppressive the atmosphere becomes. The shadows seem to close in, and Brock's every instinct tells him that danger is near. But there's also something else. A feeling that, just beyond the next ridge, lies an answer to the questions that have been haunting him. He doesn't know what that answer will be, but his gut tells him that it's his only chance to understand what's happening. So, he presses on. But as he approaches the ridge, the ground suddenly shifts beneath him. A deep rumble shakes the earth, and the air crackles with energy. Something is moving, something massive, something ancient, and it's coming for him. Brock doesn't know what it is, but he knows one thing for sure: this is no ordinary battle. The fight for survival in this new world is just beginning, and the stakes are higher than anything he's ever faced before. With the horizon darkening and his every step leading him closer to an unknown threat, Brock can only wonder what kind of power could possibly await him in this world. And is he ready to face it? As the ground trembles beneath Brock's feet, the world around him seems to collapse inward, narrowing to a single point of focus. The air grows heavy, the distant hum of energy intensifying until it becomes a deep, resonating thrum, almost like the heartbeat of the planet itself. Brock's muscles tighten in anticipation, his senses alert to the change in the atmosphere. Something massive is moving beneath the earth, and whatever it is, it's coming for him. The tremors grow stronger, the sky above darkening as though the very fabric of reality is warping around him. Brock's instincts scream at him to run, but his feet remain planted. He knows he can't outrun whatever is approaching. This isn't a battle he can simply overpower. The air is thick with tension, and just as he prepares to make his move, the ground in front of him splits wide open. From the chasm that forms beneath him, a burst of brilliant, blinding light shoots up, momentarily illuminating the entire forest. For a split second, everything stands still. Then, from the blinding light, something emerges, a colossal, metallic creature, its body twisting and pulsating with strange, neon energy. Its eyes, glowing with an unsettling red hue, fixate on Brock with an eerie, predatory gaze. It isn't just a machine. It's something far worse, something that seems to be alive, breathing, thinking, and hunting. Brock takes a step back, his mind racing. This isn't a creature he can grapple with, no amount of strength will help him now. But there's no time to hesitate. The beast lunges at him, moving with terrifying speed, and Brock is forced to roll out of the way, narrowly avoiding the crushing force of its attack. His heart pounds in his chest, and for the first time since he arrived, Brock feels fear not of the fight, but of what he's truly up against. This is no ordinary enemy. It's something forged from the very fabric of this alien world, a force that bends the rules of reality itself. But as the creature repositions itself, preparing for another strike, Brock notices something strange. The way it moves, there's something familiar about it. The way it calculates its attacks, the precision, the almost human-like decision-making. This thing isn't a mindless automaton. It's intelligent, and the realization hits Brock like a thunderclap. This creature is a manifestation of the very force that brought him here. And if that's true, the stakes just became unimaginably higher. While Brock is locked in a deadly dance with the mechanical behemoth, the mysterious group observing him from the shadows begins to move. Their leader, a figure cloaked in shadow, has been watching the unfolding events closely, waiting for the right moment to act. The group has long known of the strange forces at play in this world, and their mission is simple: find those who have been brought here, assess their capabilities, and determine whether they are a threat or an ally. Brock's arrival was no accident, and they know that the key to understanding this strange world lies in the powerful warriors like him. But the group's motives are far from pure. They have their own agenda, one that may not align with Brock's survival. From their hidden base, they begin to coordinate their next move. Their technology is advanced, beyond anything Brock has encountered, and their influence stretches far deeper into this world than even they realize. They are connected to the ancient force that controls time and space, and they have been manipulating it for their own gain. Brock is merely a pawn in a much larger game, one that has been in motion for centuries. The only question now is whether he will play by their rules or if he will become the one who reshapes the game entirely. As Brock continues to fight for his life, the ground beneath him shifts again, and another shockwave ripples through the air. The creature before him roars, its mechanical body warping and shifting in response to the growing energy in the atmosphere. It's adapting, becoming more dangerous, more unpredictable. But something else is happening, something Brock can't yet explain. As the beast's attacks grow more frantic, a faint glow begins to pulse in the distance, over the horizon, near the same area where the group is hidden. The air grows thick with an unearthly power, and Brock realizes that whatever is happening is no coincidence. The world itself seems to be reacting to his presence, reacting to the chaos he's unleashed. The creature isn't the only thing that's been waiting for him. There are forces at play here that Brock can't even begin to comprehend. As he faces off with the mechanical monster, he notices something else. Glowing symbols, identical to those he saw etched into the trees, begin to appear around him. They flicker to life, hovering in the air, shifting as though alive, as though they are watching him. Brock's mind races. Could they be guiding him? Or are they setting him up for something worse? Just as the creature lunges for the final blow, Brock spots a gap in its defenses. He seizes the opportunity, launching himself at the beast with every ounce of power in his body. For a brief moment, time seems to slow, and the world around him blurs as he delivers a crushing blow to the creature's core. But the result is far from what he expected. Instead of collapsing, the creature absorbs the impact and begins to glow brighter, its energy multiplying exponentially. The symbols in the air flicker violently, and the ground beneath Brock's feet begins to crack open once again. Something is changing. Something is awakening. Brock stumbles back, his body aching from the effort, but before he can react, the very sky above him begins to twist. The clouds swirl, bending in on themselves, and the wind howls as if in protest. The earth shakes once more, but this time it's not just the ground that trembles. The very fabric of reality seems to be stretching, warping around him. Brock's mind races. Has he inadvertently triggered something catastrophic? Was this the plan all along, to use him to tear open the seams of time and space itself? In that moment, Brock realizes the full scope of the situation. He's not just fighting for survival anymore. He's fighting to prevent the destruction of everything: his world, this world, every world that might exist. And whatever happens next, he can't do it alone. As the ground beneath him collapses and the light from the creature's core blinds him, he knows that the next chapter in this battle will be like no other. The stakes have risen higher than ever before, and the true enemy is only just beginning to reveal itself. The world around Brock begins to fracture as if reality itself is being unraveled. The sky twists into chaotic patterns, swirling with colors that don't belong to any known spectrum. The energy from the beast's core pulses violently, growing stronger, brighter, and more volatile with every passing second. Brock, exhausted but undeterred, realizes he has but one chance to stop it all, one final strike to end this madness before everything is consumed by the force he's unleashed. The symbols in the air flicker wildly, each one now a glowing shard of pure energy, their shapes shifting faster than he can process. Brock's senses are overwhelmed, but a sudden clarity cuts through the chaos. He understands the symbols. They're not just markings, they're coordinates, a map leading to the very heart of the power that controls this world. It's as if the force that brought him here has finally decided to reveal its purpose. The question now isn't just how to stop the creature, but how to use this knowledge to take control of the situation before it spirals further out of his reach. With no time to waste, Brock charges at the mechanical monster, using every ounce of energy left in his body. The beast, now more powerful and unpredictable than ever, lunges toward him. But Brock isn't the same fighter he was when he first arrived in this world. He's learned from his surroundings, from the mysterious symbols that guided him, and from the forces that have been manipulating him from the shadows. He's not just fighting to survive anymore, he's fighting to reclaim control. As Brock leaps at the beast, a sudden burst of energy erupts from within him, a surge of raw, untapped power that seems to come from the very fabric of the world itself. The symbols around him resonate with the force, amplifying it, and for a split second, Brock feels a connection to something much larger than himself. This isn't just about strength. It's about understanding, about tapping into the very essence of this reality. For a brief moment, everything goes silent. The chaotic energy fades, the twisting sky settles, and the earth beneath Brock's feet becomes still. The creature falls to the ground, lifeless, its once glowing eyes now dim. But even as Brock breathes a sigh of relief, a strange feeling lingers in the air. The battle isn't over, not yet. He knows that whatever he just did has shifted the balance, but the true power still lies ahead. From the shadows, the mysterious group that had been watching him finally reveals itself. Their leader steps forward, an enigmatic figure cloaked in light and shadow, their eyes glowing with an ancient wisdom. "You've done it," the leader says, their voice both calm and unsettling. "You've unlocked the key to this world's heart. But there's more at stake than you know." Brock looks at them, confused. "What do you mean?" "I stopped the creature." "Isn't that enough?" The leader smiles, but there's no warmth in it. "That was only the beginning. The creature you destroyed was a test. The real enemy, the force that controls this world, has been watching you, waiting for you to prove your worth. And now, you've done just that." Brock stands tall, his exhaustion giving way to determination. "So what's next? What do you want from me?" The leader's smile fades, replaced by a look of solemn seriousness. "You've been chosen to shape the future of this world and all worlds. The force you've encountered isn't just confined to this time or this place. It exists beyond dimensions, beyond time itself. And now, because of you, it's free." Brock's mind races. "Free? You mean I've set it loose?" The leader nods. "Yes. And now, it's up to you to either control it or destroy it. But be warned, its power is limitless. It can rebuild or destroy entire realities with a thought. And it's already begun to alter the fabric of existence." A deep rumbling echoes from the horizon, and Brock feels the ground beneath him tremble once more. But this time, it's different. The energy is not hostile. It's not a beast he's facing. It's something far more complex. The force, now free, is awakening, but it's not as Brock expected. Instead of a chaotic explosion of power, a wave of clarity washes over him. The symbols in the air begin to align, forming a pattern, a map of sorts, not just for this world, but for the entire multiverse. And then it clicks. The twist that Brock never saw coming. The force wasn't a weapon, nor an enemy. It was a bridge. A conduit to other worlds, to other realities. What Brock has just unlocked is the key to traversing the very fabric of existence. The creature was just the guardian of the gate, and now that it's gone, the door has opened. The world he's in is just one of many, and Brock's actions have changed everything. The leader's voice breaks through Brock's thoughts. "You can't undo what's been done. But you can decide what comes next. Will you help guide these worlds, or will you let them fall into chaos? The choice is yours." Brock takes a deep breath. He never asked for this, never imagined he would be at the center of something so grand, so world-shattering. But as he looks at the horizon, the endless possibilities stretch before him. He's no longer just a fighter in a cage. He's become something far greater, something with the power to shape reality itself. The energy from the symbols pulses around him, growing brighter. And for the first time since he arrived, Brock understands. He's not just surviving anymore. He's becoming something more than human. Something timeless. As the light envelops him, a final message echoes in his mind: the real fight has just begun. With a final, resolute step forward, Brock Lesnar faces the unknown, ready to embrace whatever this new destiny holds. And in that moment, the future of all worlds rests in his hands.